I once faked a school trip to fool my mum into letting me go to France.
David's team.
So you faked a school trip?
Faked a school trip.
How? What did you say?
My mother was extremely strict. Never let me go anywhere or do anything. I was 17. I wanted to go to France. I was studying A-level French, so I tricked her into thinking it was imperative for me to go on this trip.
I'd have thought if it was an educational thing, most mums would be all for it, wouldn't they?
That's the point she's just made.
No. My mother was super overprotective of us.
Right.
Like, she didn't let us go anywhere. She had a scrapbook of bus and train crashes. That she'd bring out and go, you see these children? They went on their school trip and now they are dead. Stuff like that.
Wow. Was there actually a school trip?
No, there was no school trip. I went on my own. But
So did you just tell your very strict, fearful of death mother, there's this school trip? And she went, OK, there's a school trip.
I basically got all my friends to turn up at the train station with suitcases.
You're not serious.
To make it look like it was a school trip.
And they weren't going to France with you?
No. And then my mum came, said goodbye, and then we all got on the train and they got off at the next stop.
Where did you go in France?
I went to Touraine.
Touraine?
Touraine. Which
Why
is
did you go to Touraine?
Because there was a French course there, and the council gave free trips for kids who were studying A-levels.
So you actually lied to your mum to go to France, but actually went to a French course?
Yeah.
So you didn't go clubbing or go out and do anything? You
I did
actually
that.
went and studied?
I did that. I slept with a guy while I was there, but I did go...
But you also
initially
did
to study.
So it was part fun, part academic?
Yeah.
What year was this?
I'm going to say the 80s.
Because I was there in the 80s.
Yeah, 80s, yeah.
So how long was it?
It's me! I remember you.
I thought you were black.
What are you thinking, Wallace?
The way that Gina talks about her mum is the same way that I sort of, you know, Sri Lankan parenting is very, very similar. What I can't understand is how you wouldn't be just incredibly anxious, because if even there was the slimmest chance of your mum finding out, you would not be with us today.
No.
What do you think, Jessica?
I think it's completely 100% true.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely.
Do you know what I liked? Touraine. Not Paris.
No.
It's not obvious, is it? Touraine. Who knows? But yes, that's the sort of thing, a place in France. Yes, my town is twinned with Touraine. They've got a biscuit factory. I think it's true.
You're going to say true. Gina, truth or lie?
It is true.
I once made a 72-hour round trip to Australia just to pick up a really rare record because I couldn't risk it getting damaged in the post.
Beastie.
Wow. What was the record? 100-metre sprint?
It was a rare Northern Soul record.
By?
Frank Wilson.
And what was the record called?
It was called Do I Love You, Indeed I Do. It was originally printed and they were all 500 presses were smashed because Motown didn't like it. But two survived, well, two knowingly survived. We thought we'd find a third one.
Is it a single or an album?
It's a 7-inch.
Sorry, but the flying all that way for a 7-inch doesn't seem like a very good use of time or money. Yeah.
The one that we know of, that I know of, sold for £28,000, so it's quite a...
And how much were you paying for it?
Well, we thought we could get it for about £9,000.
Where did you get it from? Was it from eBay or something?
No, just from some research. Someone phoned up and said he thinks she's got a copy of it in Melbourne, Australia.
OK.
So I went over on Qantas.
So when you got there, did the third one exist?
It did exist, yeah, but it was in such a bad state. It was like someone had glued it back together.
So you couldn't play it?
No, you couldn't play it, no.
Craig, could you do a bit of the song?
Do I love you? Do I love you? Do I...
Oh, it was scratched, wasn't it? Presume you'd have been expected, if you'd have brought it back, expected to pay import duty?
I wasn't expecting that.
have been expecting it, but I suspect they were.
Jeremy, what do you think?
Just seems so impractical to fly that distance and pay that amount of money to buy something. So I'm edging towards lie here.
Did you offer him anything?
I did offer him £5,000.
And he said no.
And I brought it home.
Oh,
you did buy it?
So you've got it now, have you?
Yeah.
This now sounds true.
I think it's true.
Yeah, well, I think he's well known for his love of music, so he might be mad enough to do that. We'll say it's true.
Saying it's true. They think it's true, Craig. Was it true, or were you telling us a lie?
I was telling you a lie.
I recently wrote a rap about the benefits of sensible pension planning.
Oh, you've got David's interest.
Could you do a bit of that rap, or...?
I don't really remember it.
You've forgotten it?
Yeah, it was a while back.
You said recently?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm new here.
How did it come about?
I do a lot of adverts for people, and they want me to rap for them. I'm a musician as well as a TV chef, and I normally rap about stuff for money.
Very honest about it.
So you were commissioned by essentially an advertising agency?
Yeah, the pensions from the government.
Do you remember any of the lines from the rap?
I know a part of it went, pension, pension.
I'm going to say something. As an actor, often when you finish a show, the whole thing goes. As soon as you have done your last show, you cannot remember a
Only he didn't, because he just sang 2 lines.
No, what he did, Gabby, was he went, pension, pension.
What he should have done is put a little bit of the rap away each month, and then...
Can you remember the specifics of what the rap was trying to get across?
It was about just taking away the stigma of pensions.
Stigma?
I don't think people aren't ashamed of their pensions. I mean, my parents, I think they're quite pleased. They've got pensions. They're happy to take their pension money and use it to live with.
And have you remembered any more of it in the intervening minutes?
I'm under a lot of pressure right now.
Yes.
So I can't... There's a lot of tension about the pensions.
That'll do.
There we go. He's writing my lyrics now.
So what do you reckon?
I'm not aware of a recent government campaign to raise awareness and get rid of the stigma of pensions among young people.
I don't think you not being aware of this campaign should direct us in one way or another.
You think
because
it might?
I don't think your algorithm is what they would aim Big Zoo's adverts.
You get those walk-in bath adverts, don't you? Come on then, David Mitchell.
So you think it might be true?
I'm weighing towards truth. Yeah, I think it's true.
We're going to go true then.
OK, you're going to go with your team. Zoo, they think it's true. Was it true or was it a lie?
It is true.
Yeah!
All right. I've had to up security at my gigs because old women won't stop kissing me.
Ooh.
Please, team.
How old are these women?
I would suggest maybe like 60 upwards.
And what kind of
Whoa,
kisses?
whoa, whoa. Sorry, you're saying that's old? Don't listen to him, Rob.
What kind of kisses are they going in for?
They're going for a smooch on the cheek. Some might try and get one on the lips, but it's like, no.
And are they trying to get on the stage, or is this at the back?
No. This is at the meet and greet. So I do meet and greets at some of the... Yeah, at some of the smaller
You charge
venues.
extra for that?
No.
Could be.
I mean, I could, but I don't want to, you know what I mean?
It's not that kind of meat.
Do you not like...
I'm not suggesting he's offering himself as a gigolo.
You should tour with Claudia, you could do meat and gravy. So, how bad does it get? I mean, obviously...
It gets bad.
Are we talking a bit of hand-grabbing as well?
Yes.
And are we talking a bit of, like, when the photo happens, arm round, bit of a squeeze?
Yes, I've had that, I've had that.
And they say, get off.
No. I've had, let me tell you something, I've had a couple, husband, wife, and I've had, like, while we're taking a picture, I've had the wife's hand on my bum.
Squeezing it?
Yes, full on. And I'm like, in the picture, I'm like...
What are we thinking? Was Babatunde telling the truth?
I think he's got an approachable way about it.
And especially on the, you know, I'm a celebrity, they share everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they feel like they know him.
I think it's true.
I think it's a lie, actually, and I think he's just showing off.
I'll go with you. I'll say
You're
true.
saying true.
Yeah.
All right, they think it's true, Babatunde. Was it true, or were you telling a lie?
It is, in fact, true.
Bono once fixed the flush on my downstairs loo.
Please, team.
Is that a euphemism?
Might be worth saying, Kimberly, for some of the younger viewers, Bono, of course, is the lead singer of Spandau Ballet. Sorry, you two.
I thought you were going to explain what a loo was.
And so what happened?
So we were on tour in Ireland.
And when are we talking about, Kimberly? What year
So
would
this would have been like mid-2005-ish, I reckon.
OK.
And we were staying in these kind of like apartments. So it was the toilet downstairs in the apartment.
OK.
So basically, I went out to like the concierge type bit in the apartment block.
Bono wasn't working as the concierge, was he?
And Bono actually happened to be in the reception area at the same time. So I start shouting off that the loo's blocked. So then we start chatting, and then he's like, "Oh, sure, I'll fix the loo."
Was he wearing sunglasses?
Yeah, he always wears sunglasses.
That is him.
Is that
it? Always wears sunglasses.
So how exactly did Bono unblock that toilet?
So he lifts up, you know, what's it called? The cistern. Fiddles around with that floaty thing, the ball cock, and he's like, Bob's your uncle. Life lesson learned from Bono. Brilliant.
Were all girls allowed in the same apartment?
No, we had two between us.
Who were you with?
I was with Cheryl.
So you and Cheryl, what, in a twin room? Or
No,
did you have your
we
own
had
bedroom?
our own rooms. Don't get carried away.
If I was getting carried away, I wouldn't have said twin beds, I'd have said a double bed, wouldn't I? And trust me, I wouldn't have had in the background the idea that your toilet was blocked.
What are you thinking, Sam?
Oh, can I ask, being in like a famous pop group, is that just a roller coaster?
Yes, it is. It really
That's quite a very general question, Sam.
I think it's true. I think that it's not you in your highest moment, so I think to present this is really brave.
The bit I don't like is the concierge going, yes, I'll just sort that out for you. Wait a minute, I'll sort this out. Oh, it's right, Bono from U2 is going to do it, that's all right.
So what do you think? Is it the truth?
I think it's a lie.
All right, we'll go with lie.
OK, you're going to say it's a lie. Kimberly, was it a lie or was it actually the truth?
It was, of course, a lie.
Age 11, I got my first ever detention for secretly watching Would I Lie to You on my phone in class.
Oh. Well, that makes me feel old.
Can we ask how old you are now?
I'm 20.
So 9 years ago. Well, this programme was on 9 years ago.
Yes.
I can confirm that. So,
It's a family-friendly show.
family-friendly show. What lesson were you in?
I was in RE.
How many times had you done this?
I'd done it, like, quite a few times before.
Watching
so
us or just watching telly generally?
mainly Would I Lie to You.
Here's a question, then. Who was on?
OK, David was on.
A good start.
You were on as well.
Yeah, that's I'm in this.
Rob, yeah, so...
Rob was on, yeah?
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I think it was one of the episodes with Bob Mortimer.
Oh, you're playing safe,
Oh,
aren't
that's
you?
a very easy choice, isn't it?
So, you know when you was watching this, was you streaming it or did you buy the box set?
I was just streaming it.
You don't have that much data. How much data did you have?
You can
9 years ago. You used to get 1 gigabyte 9 years ago.
I've
That's
downloaded
300
it.
megabytes per episode.
Is it? That's very specific knowledge.
Yeah, man. I used to work at the Apple store.
I tell you what. Did you really? Is that true? Really?
Do you remember what you were supposed to be studying in RE that day?
There's a lot of religions. I think it was Hinduism.
OK.
I mean, much as I find the show entertaining, I don't know if it's more entertaining than Hinduism.
That's our second trailer from Frank. So what were we saying?
Oh, what did you think? A lie?
I'm going for a lie. I don't think she would have been allowed her phone.
Lie. Lucy?
I think it's a lie.
I'll go with my team.
But it might be true.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's go with
We've never done this before, but can I have a substitute?
Let's go with lie.
OK, we'll go with lie.
Lie. OK, they think it's a lie. Abby, was it a lie? Or was it actually the truth?
It was a lie.
Yes. During my driving test, the examiner made me pull over because he'd spotted someone breaking into his house.
Please, team.
Driving test or driving instruction?
Driving test.
You're actually on your test. And... How old were you then?
18, I think.
And talk us through the conversation.
I was going down the dual carriageway. That bit was fine, and then we pulled off and we went to a residential area. I didn't know the area.
You just changed that, didn't you? We're going down the dual carriageway, and then we pulled off and went to a residential area.
I remember that.
What houses are that can be broken into? Yes, carry on, Rav.
And we pulled off.
Yeah.
And he just screamed, stop.
Just screamed, stop.
Yes. So I stopped the car.
So you stopped the car?
And he ran out.
So we got out, and did he even say what he was doing?
He ran to a house that had a ladder.
Oh, he didn't tell you anything, he just ran out of the car.
Ran.
So at this point you're thinking, I'm not doing very well, am I?
But I knew something was up, because...
He'd said stop and ran out of the car.
No, because mine...
Exactly the same thing happened on my driving test.
He just ran out the car and ran to the house that had a ladder on the outside because he thought someone was breaking into the house, which I later found out.
Talk us through then what happens.
He came back and said, no one's breaking into the house. It was the window cleaner.
I've got a question for you. That house must have been empty, otherwise he wouldn't have been so panicky, correct?
Quite possibly, I don't know.
Where was the window cleaner getting the water?
An outside tap?
All right, what are we thinking? Sue, what do you make of this?
Well, you see, I'm just thinking the examiner could have actually liked the look of that house and said stop and dashed up because he probably thought, I just want to see if there's anything worth myself burgling.
Oh, you thought he was a burglar?
Yes.
So you thought my examiner turned burglar?
There's an angle we hadn't thought of.
Yes. Did he have any jewels when he came back?
I like the way Sue thinks her job here is to develop the story.
Sue, I could see you and Rav, prime-time BBC One, as a new crime-fighting duo. He's very much the traditional copper, but you think a little bit outside of the box.
Oh, I'd be like Sister Boniface.
Who's Sister Boniface?
She's a nun who's a detective.
What channel's Sister Boniface on?
20.
Channel 20. I've not heard of Channel 20 or Sister Boniface, but this is... I'm going to write this down.
What do you reckon, Chris?
So do I think that Rav had to stop his car in a driving test because the driving instructor saw a man on a ladder at his house and thought it was a burglar, but it was the window cleaner? Yes, I do.
You think it's true?
Wow.
Susan Pollard.
Oh, dear. I'm going to go... it's...
What are you thinking? I'll help you with your dilemma.
Well, you've been hopeless so far. You're not giving
You think out loud, Sue. Can I just say, your character in Heidi High, I always thought was an exaggeration of your character. Turns out it was toned down, wasn't it?
It is true.
You say true. We'll take that.
True.
I'm going to go with my teammates and say it's true.
OK. Rav, you've convinced them, but was it the truth or was it a lie?
It is, in fact, a lie.
On an American tour, I was repeatedly stopped by customs officials because I'd been pranked by Rod Stewart.
David's team.
Right. That's
Rod Stewart is a popular singer.
Thank you. So you're on tour in America?
Yes.
The United States of?
And South America.
South America where?
Brazil.
Just Brazil?
Yeah, forget the Rod Stewart bit. This is the real interesting bit.
OK, so we were doing a show, and Rod Stewart was there.
Which of the countries of the Americas did Rod Stewart attend your show in?
Well, this was in Ireland.
Had he come just to see McFly?
No, he was doing the same show. It was a toy show.
A toy show?
Yeah, at Christmas time. Big celebration, loads of toys.
Yes.
And McFly and Rod Stewart.
Was it a dream you had?
So Rod was there, and he's like, "Hey, Danny!" And I'm like, "Hey, Rod!"
Sure you haven't been watching Rocky?
So he said, "Do you want a lift?"
Does he mean drugs?
He went back home. He's like, "Well, I'll give you a lift on my jet."
Wasn't he sailing?
Very good, that. He said, "Oh, I need your passports." So we get on the plane, give our passports to him, and then fly to London.
Right.
So then we get a call from our tour manager. I think he was applying for a visa. So then he was like, "Guys, bad news." And he'd drawn willies on our heads.
Rod Stewart?
Like, yeah.
So
on our
Rod
passport.
Stewart?
Oh, on your passport?
Yeah, no.
Just assume that he just fell asleep on the plane.
So did this mean they wouldn't recognise you at customs unless you drew a willy on your own?
It wasn't fun travelling around. Every customs were like, "You think that's funny?" Like, no, but you won't. The story is Rod Stewart drew it.
Well, it's going to delay you a lot if you tell this story.
When you told people at customs that Rod Stewart had drawn these appendages on your head, did they believe you?
Well, no, so we stopped saying that.
Why would Rod Stewart be performing at a toy show in Ireland? That doesn't add up.
Oh, but it's all right for McFly to do that, is it?
Right, time to go for a guess, David. What do you think?
Okay.
I think it's false.
You think it's...
I don't think it's true.
You don't think it's true? I think it's true. I'm not confident enough to overrule. I'm just, you know...
Well, what are you doing in the captain's seat, then, you coward?
Despite my scepticism, we're going to say, as a team, that we think that's a lie.
You think it's a lie? OK, Danny, was it a lie or were you actually telling the truth?
I was actually telling the truth.
I was once a body double for a head lice advert.
David's team.
What do you mean a body double?
I had head lice at the time.
OK.
They show the boy, and then they show the back of the head with the lice. I was not the boy, but that back of the head, and those are my lice.
So when they were casting the advert, they thought, well, we can't cast someone who's necessarily infested themselves.
The lady who invented the comb, it was her son.
Which comb are we talking about?
The Knitbusters comb.
Knitbusters?
Yeah.
So is the person that invented the comb for head lice...
Yeah.
Her son was in the advert?
It's called nepotism, David.
Odd name for your son.
Yeah. Where are we in Australia, Sam?
Oh, you're not having one of your breakdowns again, are you?
This is in Queensland, dude.
How did they know you had head lice? Because you don't advertise that, do you?
Best friends with this guy, yeah. Him and I were as thick as thieves.
Right, so was it like one of them shopping channels?
Weirdly, I think it was on the news. It was at the end of the news, they'd be like, and now we've got this comb.
So it's on the news?
Yeah.
I thought you said it was an advert.
Here are the head lice.
Yeah. I think it was a thinly veiled advert, and, you know, so sue me.
You think it was advertorial? That's what you're saying. When was this?
I was pretty young at the time. 10 or 11.
When was that?
When I was in primary school.
Yeah,
we realise that. We're trying to ascertain the year.
A year on it.
Maybe year 6, I guess. No way, I was much younger.
You haven't said what you had to do in this advert or this appearance.
So I just was the back... You know, like, any time you see someoone's hands in a movie, that's not really their hands.
That's not true. That is true. What you mean is sometimes when you see someone's hands.
I think every time.
Not every time. Sometimes when they scratch their face, that's their hand. If you see Tom Cruise scratching his face, there's not someone going...
Cruise has got a scratcher. Cruise has got a scratcher.
So, in the 1990s, there was a breakthrough in the treatment of nits in Australia. A new comb was marketed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was so great about it? What was new about it? That the previous
I think
nit
the
combs...
spacing between the teeth on this comb was just really gobsmacking.
Up until then, they were like that far apart. They just...
Unless it's a very big nit. Yeah.
It's the obvious design feature to tinker with on a comb, isn't it?
How did you feel when they offered you this? Because in the one level, oh, I'm going to be on the telly, but showing my nits.
I mean, I know this guy who was dancing in a window to get his foot in the door.
All right, well, what do you think?
You know, mainly because you mixed up advert and news. Otherwise, I'm totally buying it.
Me, I think definitely lie.
I think lie. I think we do think it's a lie. I mean, you have a disconcerting presence.
No.
So in
You
a
say
way...
the warmest things to the guests, David.
But there's also something ghostly about you. I wouldn't be surprised if at the next recording they said, wasn't it weird that on Lee's team we only had one guest? I said, no, there was another guest, Sam. He was from Australia. And Rob says, there is no such place. But I think we think it's a lie.
They're saying it's a lie.
It's a lie.
Sam, truth or lie?
That's true.
No!
All these years, I have been pretending to be blind. If only. Lee, would you read that for me, please?
Every night, I use an unusual technique to make sure I wake up on time in the morning.
Ooh. Right, David's team.
OK, so what is the unusual technique?
The usual way of making sure you wake up in the morning at the right time would be to set an alarm clock.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard of that.
OK,
So, and you do something different. Well, we don't need to know what. I think we'll go true.
What I've done is I have trained my brain to wake itself up.
No, you haven't.
At the right time.
By doing what?
When I'm lying in bed, I will bang out the time on the pillow with my head.
Right.
Saying the hours for the time that I want to wake up.
Yeah.
And that subconsciously programs the time.
Chris?
Yes.
Are you all right?
And how accurate is this?
50-50.
Where did this idea come to you from?
I read it in a book.
What was the name of the book?
The book was called Last Man Standing. It was a fictional book, David.
It was a fictional book from which you were taking lifestyle tips.
Well, do you know when you read something and it sticks in your head as an idea to try?
This may help you, David. Give us a demonstration, if you would, of the severity of the headbang. You're settling down at the end of the night.
OK, Lee, I'm going to turn around a bit and use you as a pillow.
All right.
Oh, so I'm in
Put
bed.
my arm there, yeah.
Oh, my pillow's firmer than that. So I want to get up at 7:30 in the morning, so I'm like, I go 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and if I want to get up at 7:30, I go 7:30.
I don't know whether you've got a partner or a wife or somebody who shares
He
a
used to
bed
have a wife,
with
he
you.
headbutted us to death.
Is there anybody else in the bed with you, Chris?
So I mean, I tour a lot.
So some nights yes, some nights no.
I tour a lot, I'm away a lot, but when I'm at home, I do have a wife. I mean, I have a wife all the time.
What are you thinking, David's team? Alex, what do you think?
Oh, it's so unbelievable. It's believable.
Yeah, and also I do think that if you tell yourself you need to wake up at a certain time, the chances of waking up then are higher than you'd think. It's not totally random.
Well, let's give it a go tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't make it sound as if you're sharing a bed. So I think you're saying it's true.
Well, are we happy to say true? Yeah, I think we're going to go with true.
OK, Chris, they think you were telling the truth. Were you, or was it a lie?
Everyone will be trying it tonight. It's true.
Yes!
I was 40 before I realised that raisins are, in fact, grapes.
Please, Steve.
How old are you now?
52.
Right, how did you find out?
Well, somebody told me.
Oh, it's a hell of an anecdote. You got any more?
I was eating, like, you know, you can get a pack of, like, assorted...
Nuts and raisins.
Nuts, chocolate things.
Yeah.
And I was with my wife, and I said, what are raisins? What are they? It never occurred to me before. And then she told me they're grapes, and I didn't believe her.
So what did you think they were?
I thought they were raisins.
And you just thought that they grew like that?
There isn't a clue in the way there is with, say, sun-dried tomato.
Exactly.
What about gherkins? Do you know where gherkins come from?
They're cucumbers. Don't call me an idiot.
I mean...
What about currants, Charlie?
Currants, those are they're a grape too?
I think... No, I'll be honest with you, I'm only 90% sure. I think a currant is a grape as well, isn't it?
That's what I would say.
Oh, hang on a minute. Who's the idiot here? You hypocrite!
I'm loving this new guess where dried fruit came from section of the show. What about sultanas?
Sultanas, I know what they are. They're white grapes.
White grape?
Yeah.
So a currant could be a dried black currant. Couldn't it be, maybe?
Well, hang on a minute. Like,
possible.
literally, you were all ganging up on me.
I wasn't. I backed you up. I said sun-dried tomatoes, it would have been obvious, but it's not obvious with a raisin.
And now it's a current affairs show.
What do you think, Hannah?
I think it's true. I think even very, very smart people can be a bit unobservant sometimes.
True.
And I think...
But what about Charlie?
Yes.
What do you think, Danny?
I think it's false.
You don't think it's true because...
Because you can't have waited that long to ask that question. When you say you were 40.
Well, when did you ask what they were?
When my son asked me, and I had to go and Google it.
OK, what's it going to be, Lee?
We'll say it's true.
Yeah, go on.
Go on, we'll say true.
OK, they're saying true. Charlie, truth or lie?
It is, true.
Yes! Well done.
I once dumped my hypnotist boyfriend when I brought him a surprise breakfast in bed, only for him to reveal he'd hypnotised me to do it.
David's team.
OK, I think we're going to go true.
When was this, Joe?
It was last week, Rob.
Really?
Well, it was when I was a student back in the 1850s. He was doing a show at our uni.
Did he have a stage name, Joe?
The Great Hypnotist, Rob.
Good. Good.
That was his stage name, The Great Hypnotist? No, it wasn't. No. Well, OK, do you want to make something else up? Duncan Wilson.
What was the breakfast, Joe?
It was kind of like mushrooms and black pudding, which I wouldn't go near in a million years.
And were you aware that you were doing this, or were you in a zombie-like trance? Were you walking around like this, or were you feeling everything was normal?
I think that's not hypnotism, that's being a mummy in Scooby-Doo.
You would have got away with it too if it wasn't for that pesky kid.
You had no memory of preparing the mushroom and black pudding breakfast? No, I didn't, David. Did you have any memory of purchasing the ingredients? No, and that's because I didn't purchase them.
If someone's just tuned in, they'll think that David's doing an advert for Age Concern. So you have no recollection of buying the mushrooms, Joe?
OK, what's it going to be, truth or lie?
My worry about it is, aren't stage hypnotists... let me put this carefully. Charlatans.
I think there are stage hypnotists who can hypnotise people. I think that's
well,
a given.
it's important that some people should think that, or they'd have no audience at all. So Well, I'm not convinced that a stage hypnotist could make someone cook a breakfast in a sort of trance.
It's a very good argument, but Joe's just so believable.
Well, what you have to do is separate the plausibility of the people from what they're asserting, because she literally read it off a card. So it's no reflection on her personal integrity, whether it's true or not.
Well, it is, if it's true she had a one-night stand with a hypnotist.
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't slept with Duncan Whistle? We'll never know. Maybe we have and we don't realise.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. What do you think, Guy?
I'm actually with Johnny. I believe it.
You believe it?
Oh, you have no grip on your team, do you? This is lovely to see.
It's anarchy.
It's mayhem over there. No. You're like Liz Truss, desperately trying to keep everything together.
What I'm precisely like is Theresa May, who voted against Brexit and then was happy to be the Prime Minister that pushed it through. Just like...
That's good. Yeah, much better, yes. Very good. So, Joe, you've convinced them. They think it's true. Was it true or was it a lie?
It was a lie.
For one episode of The Traitors, I gave myself a fake tan using gravy granules.
These two.
Wow. OK, do you have a normal fake tan?
I didn't have it there because I was in the castle, so what I thought was, let's use something.
Was there a brand or a type of gravy?
I don't think I'm allowed to say a brand, but yeah,
well, because you can't think of one. Was it early on in the record? Was it the first episode?
It was not the first episode. It was, I don't know, like Ep 5,
right,
round table.
Fine.
In you go. You know what I mean. You're wearing tweed. What do you need? Correct. Granules.
What about the first 4 episodes?
The first 4 episodes, it was quite sunny.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't sunny.
What did you do for the first 4 episodes?
This is very good. I had a spray.
Right.
Like, I don't know why you're, like, so obsessed with detail.
So this is the question.
It's so suffocating. Like, be cool, be cool. Go with the wind.
You know,
I went up. Traitors, gravy granules, move on.
If you're ever up for a crime, never talk like this in court.
Yeah. Have you said where the gravy granules came from?
Yeah, a shop.
Oh, weren't you in the middle of nowhere, weren't you, up there?
Yes, but there are shops there.
Oh, this story's getting worse. So you realise you haven't got any stuff, and you go, someone rush out and quickly and get me some. We'll get you the stuff you usually... No. Just for no reason whatsoever, don't rush out and get the stuff I usually use. Get gravy granules just on the off chance it's good. Surely that story works if you happen to have them on you. Oh. You're not going out for it.
Everyone stop speaking.
There you go. Look what you're doing now with your hair. Why didn't you just do that on the show instead?
What do you think, Jessica? Does this strike you as true?
Yes. I mean, whatever you think.
If this is true, I will never believe anything anyone says ever again.
What do you think, Mike? Is it true?
I'd love to believe it. I think it's probably untrue, though.
Makes it easy for you, Lee.
It's just all hinges on the one thing. You need to rush out, please, and get me some gravy granules, was the bit where it faltered. And everything else you said.
So you're saying it's a lie?
100%.
OK, they quite conclusively think it's a lie. Was it a lie, or were you actually telling the truth?
It is true.
The morning after a party at my house, I went down to breakfast to find Harry Rednap asleep in our utility room.
Yeah, that's happened to me as well. Please tell me Harry was invited.
He was invited.
He was there the night before?
Yes, he was at the party, yes.
Right. And what was Harry sleeping on in your utility room?
So, we've got dogs.
What, sleeping on the dogs? That's outrageous.
So, we have dog baskets. Not those, like, hard dog baskets, but soft dog. He wasn't supposed to be sleeping there.
No.
He'd lost his way during the night. And the utility room is off the kitchen, which has got a bit of a snug in it. And so he maintained that he thought he'd gone back into the snug.
Right.
And he'd sat down. And they looked very inviting, the dog baskets, but, yeah.
And was he with Sandra?
He was with Sandra, of course he was with Sandra.
Were they sleeping together?
They had a room for the night.
In your house?
Yeah.
Sandra was in the cat box.
Yeah.
Was he still dressed in his party clothes?
No, he was in pyjamas.
How did Harry react when he saw you looking down at him?
He was like this, and he went, "Oh, I'm sorry, love." And he looked quite shocked.
Is he auditioning for Mary Poppins?
Where were the dogs?
They don't actually sleep in the utility normally.
They sleep with Sandra, don't they?
And in winter time, some of the floors are heated, so they go to heat it. We've got an Arga, so they
Now,
keep
that's
sleeping
true.
on the Arga.
Animals do go to
You
heated
managed to
floors.
get in that you've got heated floors and an Arga in one sentence. And a utility room and a spare bedroom for guests. Luckily, Harry didn't fall into the swimming pool late at night.
What are you thinking, Sue? Does this sound feasible to you?
It's not adding up to me. It's the spare room part that I can't imagine.
You can't believe I've got a spare bedroom.
No, I believe me. I have a spare bedroom. How many spare rooms do you have?
I'm not going to divulge that information to you.
Quite a few spare rooms,
Quite a few. It's like a hotel.
I think we're focusing on the wrong things. I don't think the number of bedrooms is relevant. I think what's relevant is whether he ended up in your...
Can I just say, you just said he like you forgot his name then. You have forgot his name, haven't you? Harry Rednap.
Yes, him. He's, what, 70-something?
Yeah, he's in his mid-70s.
You like your bed when you're...
That's what I'm thinking. Oh,
He
no, but
slept in the jungle for 3 weeks.
That's a very good point.
On a travel
Yes,
Yeah,
but
to be fair, though...
he got paid
Yeah,
for
he
that.
wasn't being paid...
All right, what are you going to say, Lee?
Zoo?
I don't believe it. I'm saying it's a lie.
Lie.
Well, then I'll go with these two and say it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie, OK. Gabby, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
It is a lie.
Thank you for believing in us.
Almost. I was once grounded when my parents saw a picture of me in the local paper doing something I shouldn't.
You were doing something you shouldn't.
Yeah, I had escaped.
Escaped from where?
I'd escaped from the house.
Were you... I mean, how dark is this story going to get?
How old were you when this happened, Shazia?
14.
And how did you escape?
I got some bed sheets and I knotted them together, threw them out the window, climbed down them, and I left the house.
Why?
I wanted to go out for the night, to a nightclub.
Oh, a nightclub. What time did you sneak out?
Oh, about 11 o'clock at night.
And what time did you get back in?
About 4 o'clock in the morning.
Bed sheets still hanging from window?
Yeah.
How many stories? I mean, I don't believe this one to start with, but how many... How many stories high were you?
3.
You were 3
stories?
What did you tie the bed sheets to?
To each other.
But...
Wow. You need something at the other end. What's the end tied to?
Oh, it was tied to the window.
OK, you go to this nightclub. Why is your picture ending up in the paper?
There were some famous people in there.
Oh, tell us.
Well, there was Joan Collins.
What?
Boy George.
Boy George, he's big. He's a big name.
UB40.
IB54.
So how did you end up in the photo? That's what we need to
Well, what
be clear on.
happened was, when the nightclub ended about 4 o'clock, there was, like, no taxis, and I didn't know how I was going to get home. So I asked Boy George...
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I asked Boy George if he would give me a piggyback home.
And did he say, do you really want to hurt me?
Where does the photo come in? What was in the photo?
Well, he said to me, oh, you look great. Let's have a picture together.
Right.
And what did your parents say when they saw the paper? How did they confront you?
They rang up the newspaper and they said, that's not my daughter.
Well, hang on. Hang on. But, wait a minute. First of all, before you get to that bit of mad information, how did it transpire in the next day? I want to know that bit. Were you still in bed when they got the paper?
Yes.
What time was this now?
Was it? It must have been an evening paper then.
Comes out about midday, I think. My dad gets the paper and he opens it up and there's a picture of me with Boy George. It had my name and he said...
Oh, you gave your name in it?
Yeah.
Your father rang the paper.
That's correct.
And there was a huge row.
He said, that's not my daughter. You've put a picture in the paper saying it's my daughter and it's not my daughter. And he said, yes, it is your daughter.
Well, how did he know on the other end of the phone?
Exactly.
Yeah, but it could be the dad of another Shazia Mirza who looks nothing like you.
But if he
says... there aren't that many Shazia Mirzas.
Yes. I know, but if he's rang up and said, that's not Shazia Mirza, the guy on the other end isn't immediately going to go, yes, it is.
Well, no, but he said, there's a picture of this girl with the Boy George. You said it's Shazia Mirza. It's not my daughter.
OK, and what did the man say?
Yes, it is.
And how... But... and your dad said...
No, it's not.
But he must have recognised you from the picture.
Who? My dad?
Yes.
My dad says, like, there's no way it could be me because I'm asleep.
Yes, but he could see the picture. I mean, was he not good with faces?
Yeah, well, he thought that they had just got this photo of me from somewhere and just shoved it in the paper.
So how was it resolved, Shazia?
Well, it wasn't resolved.
How does your story end? Let me put it like that. I'm hoping quite soon.
It did. Well, the thing was, it ended when my dad said, you're never going to be allowed out ever again.
Oh, whoa. So now he does think it's you?
No, he's saying this to the newspaper man. With this sort of irresponsible reporting, you're never allowed out of your house again.
Did he knock on your door?
Oh, yeah.
He comes in, and then what was said next?
He said, look.
What was he wearing?
That's the newspaper.
Yeah, and he says...
And he goes, look at this.
Go on.
I know where you were last night.
Oh, I'm getting angry with this story now. What's the junction between that is not my daughter and why were you out last night?
The man at the paper...
He doesn't know you!
He convinced my dad that person was me.
More than your face! More than your actual face! A man on the phone who he has never met and he doesn't know who you are has met you once for a second on the back of Boy George. That was more important than your face in the photo.
The point is, he believed the man more than me.
All right. What do we think? Jeremy, what are you thinking?
I'm starting to have my doubts about this one, to be honest. I know this sounds a crazy point of detail, but the idea that a newspaper could print the story within 3 hours of the nightclub closing...
Of everything she said, the time the newspaper comes out is the one... I mean, to me, that's fine. It's everything else.
It's just... It's the shit.
Yeah, Boy George, Piggyback, Birmingham nightclub.
Yeah, that's all fine.
Who was that? Oh, it's Joan Collins. Yeah. Man doesn't recognise his own daughter. No, no problem. What time's the paper come out? Midday, she's lying.
What about you, Amy? What do you think?
I think it's a lie, because it's hard to pick a bit that could be true.
You're saying it's a lie?
We'll say it's a lie.
Shazia, they're pretty convinced it's a lie. Was it a lie, or were you telling the truth?
I'm afraid it's the truth.
Right. After a wild party to celebrate our 2000th episode, I slept the night on the one-show sofa.
These two.
Oh. When did the one show start? What year?
I don't know.
Oh. Are you like the Khmer Rouge? Nothing existed before you turned up.
Did anybody join you?
Oh, hello.
And slept there?
The sleeping bit.
Sue Pollard, I can't tell you that.
Nothing like that. No, I was just wondering if they wanted to keep you company in case you forgot to wake up for the next edition.
No, so I'll tell you what it is. I'm a bit out of practice. I was excellent at drinking before I had the children.
Right.
But since the children, I'm not as good.
Right.
So actually, I'd fallen asleep at the end of the party. Everybody was still milling around. They just put a blanket over me and left me there.
Paint a picture for us, Alex. Who else was there? I'm imagining it was a starry affair.
No. Well, you can't invite one guest without all of them. Can you imagine how many people would have been there, Rob?
Over 10.
There have been 2,000 episodes, and there's how many guests per episode?
Oh, well, 3 or 4.
3 or 4?
I mean, it varies.
So that's like 8,000 guests, of whom 1,500 are Giles Brandreth.
Yeah.
What time did you wake up the following day?
Oh, early. 6:37.
And, I mean, what went through your mind?
Oh, beside myself.
There was 2 of you there?
They taken my shoes off.
Some people, don't they? They employ staff. What about your PR or somebody like that that would understand?
PA.
Yeah, PA.
I don't know. I haven't got a personal person. Have you got a personal person? You will have. I mean, you're a national treasure.
I've got 6, but they haven't lasted long.
Do you get through them? Why?
I pay them too much.
I don't think your PA could ever be paid too much.
Wow. Do you want to come outside? No, carry on. No, I just think it just seems a bit unfair, Alex.
What do you think, Chris? Does this smack of the truth for you?
I think there's a lot of truth in this. You're probably nodded off in the corner while Giles just continued with his stories.
It's always nice to have a little insight into these exclusive show business parties, and I'm wondering about in the heyday of Heidi High. I bet there were a few shenanigans and parties then.
Oh, yes. There were several wrong chalet entries.
What a very delicate way of expressing it.
Anyway, what do we think?
Well, I don't... What do you think?
Well, but I'm not being funny. This is really hard. Are you looking at my cherry?
No, I'm just thinking you're doing it... Oh, it's a cherry, sorry. I thought you were doing an impression of Isaac Newton.
Oh, with the arrow. Who's got the arrow? Have you got it hidden away?
No, that was William Tell. Truth or a lie?
Yeah, go on then. I'll leave it to you.
Go on then. So Chris thinks it's true.
I think it's true.
And Sue, you think it's...
I'm going to say it's true.
OK, well, my team think it's true.
All right. They think it's true. Alex falling asleep on the one-show sofa. True or a lie?
Oh, Rob, I'm better than that. Come on. It's a lie!